So the first option of the video is Pedro Netto. So he only costs 5.7 million and is only owned by 7.3% of the game, with 1 goal, 2 assists in his last 5 games. It's not a bad return. And his next fixtures are Villa away. And you might think, yes, Villa do keep a lot of clean sheets and a solid defensive team. But if Jack Grealish doesn't play, they never really seem to do well. I don't know what it is. It has an effect on the defence as well, because they lost to Sheffield United the other day, who are bottom of the league and don't win many games. And usually you think Villa kept loads of clean sheets, they wouldn't lose that game. And then the other day against Leicester, they lost as well. So I think not having Jack Grealish in the team has a big effect on them. But if he's back, it could all change. But yeah, Pedro Netto looks like a good option for the upcoming game week. Next option on the list is Man City's main centre-back, Ruben Diaz. So he is owned by 23.1% of the game, which is quite high, and at 6.1 million is quite a high price for the defender. But Man City kept the most clean sheets this season out of anyone in the whole of the Premier League, and Ruben Diaz in his last 5 games has managed to get himself a goal and 2 clean sheets. And 2 clean sheets in his last 5, that's usually a good return, but for Man City, they've been keeping loads of clean sheets recently, you expect them to keep more. So next is Man United, so that's quite a tough game for them. But then after that, they've got Southampton and Fulham, and Southampton not being in very good form, and Fulham do not score too many goals. It could be more clean sheets for Man City and Ruben Diaz right there. And the next option on the list is Leeds winger Rafinha. So he only costs 5.4 million, and is only owned by 9.7% of the game, which you might think, it's quite a lot, but for what he brings you, he's on set pieces such as corners and free kicks, and he's in a very attacking Leeds team, and 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 5 games. Was there not more to like? And at 5.4 million, he's as cheap as chips and a budget enabler, so you can bring in much more expensive options if you want to in the rest of your team. And Leeds have got West Ham away next, and West Ham aren't a bad side. They've improved a lot this season and in a top 4 race at the moment, and then Chelsea, so quite 2 tricky fixtures, but Leeds literally score pretty much every game, bar a few. So he looks like a good option for the upcoming game weeks. And the next option on the list is Manchester City winger Riyad Mahrez. So he only cost 8.1 million, which you might think is quite a lot, but for what he brings you is very good. 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 5 games, and he's played 90 minutes in every single one of his last 5 league matches, and he is only owned by 3.7% of the game, which is literally nothing. So they got Man United this weekend, which is quite a tough fixture, then Champions League next in the midweek, so he may get rested in one of those games. But after that, they got Fulham and Southampton, so all looks good for Mahrez and Man City. And the next option on the list is Kevin De Bruyne. So Mahrez' teammate has managed to get himself 3 assists in his last 5 games, bearing in mind that 4 of those games is just recently, and the 5th one was before he was injured. So he's only owned by 13.2% of the game, which isn't loads, but for the quality of player he is, that is very low. And he is 11.8 million, which is quite high, but he's just come back from injury, so I expect his ownership to go up gradually over the coming days. But after Man United, like I said, Man City have got Champions League game in midweek, so Pep might either play him against Man United or in midweek, or both, but I don't know, because he's just come back from injury, so it might be too much football. But then after that, they've got Fulham and Southampton, and everyone knows the quality of De Bruyne, and with a couple more games under his belt, get his sharpness up, he could profit in those 2 games. So the next option on the list is the Leicester forward Kolechi Nacho. So he's only owned by 0.3% of the game, so he's big differential option. And he's got 2 goals in his last 5 games and cost £5.6 million. So all very reasonable there. And now Barnes and Maddison are out for Leicester. It looks like Iheanacho is going to be getting more and more game time, which means he has more chances to score more goals. So that looks all good. But then, however, Maddison and Barnes are key creative players for Leicester, and without them in their team, will Leicester struggle to score goals? And does that mean that Iheanacho will struggle to score goals too? And maybe his one against Burnley was just a fluke? Who knows? But he's always an option there, and could always be a big differential option for the upcoming game week. The final option of the video is Tottenham forward Gareth Bale. So before I start, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think he's just come back from an injury recently, so Mourinho sort of easing him into the side slowly, so that's why his minutes are limited. But what I've seen of him, and I know a few Tottenham fans, and what they've said about him is he's looked very good, and they want him to play more games, so maybe Mourinho will think the same. So 2 goals and 1 of those assists has come in his last game against Burnley, and with Fulham next, on paper, looks like a good game there for Tottenham and Bale. And he's only owned by 1.2% of the game, so he's big differential like Kolechi and Nacho. But he does cost 9.3 million, which could put you off because there are a lot of good options in the Premier League for midfielders around that price point. So take what you can from this. But with Fulham next, on paper, looks like a good game. Good performances recently from Bell. And he plays with Son and Kane, so they can always help provide him goals, or he can help provide them goals. Looks quite good for Tottenham at the moment, and maybe their form's going to pick up, and they're going to score more goals. So I haven't quite decided on what I want to do for the upcoming game week yet, but I was thinking, maybe if I take out Dominic Calvert-Lewin and bring in Nacho, because look at his next two fixtures, Brighton and Sheffield United look very good there, and also, like I said, Nacho should be getting more game time now. And then I keep Kane in, because he's got Palace, quite a good fixture on paper. Gundogan, he's got 2 matches. Man City have a double game week this week. Salah, Fulham at home. Rafinha, West Ham United away. Bruno Fernandes, Man City away. Dallas, West Ham away. Cancelo, 2 matches. Stones, 2 matches. And Man City's 2 fixtures are Man United and Southampton. And Matt Targett, who plays Wolves. And then, of course, Nick Pope in goal, who plays Arsenal. So that would be my team, 4-4-2. So you might think, why didn't you get rid of Harvey Barnes and just keep Calvert-Lewin and maybe play 3 across the back, 5 across midfield, and 2 up top? Because I don't really know who to take Barnes out for and bring in, because I don't have much money. And I was looking around at the options, and maybe if I bring in Nacho, because he's big differential, it could pay off. It probably won't, but it could do. So that would probably be my team, and I'll probably captain Salah, and then vice-captain Kane, or vice versa. But that's what I'll probably do for the upcoming game week. But bearing in mind, guys, like I said, in game week 29, well, I haven't said this, but in game week 29, there's a blank game week. So as you can see, if you go to fixtures, that Man City don't play in game week 29. Leeds play in game week 29, which I can recall off the top of my head. Leeds play in game week 29. Aina, who I benched this week, Fulham also play in game week 29. And I think there's a few other teams. I'll go through them in a minute. So for blank game week 29, there are only 6 teams that play, and they are West Ham, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Brighton, and Arsenal. So if you're planning ahead for game week 29, those 6 teams are the ones you're going to want to target. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.